Hey, welcome to the Motormouth YouTube channel. I'm Zach.
I'm Andrea.
And you know what? People stop me on the street every day. Most asked question, Andrea. How do you get a question in?
I don't know if it's the most asked question.
I see, nobody's ever asked me, but I'm
No.
asking on behalf of all those people. How do you get questions in?
Follow along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday, I put a post out asking for questions. Once we gather them, the post is deleted and we start the show.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
My husband has a Ford Mach-E that is equipped with one-pedal driving. I've noticed that when he drives using this feature, he doesn't seem to have as much control on turns. I never use the feature. What are your thoughts? Is this feature beneficial in any way? A lot of people, first off, a lot of people love one-pedal drive. And please chime in if you own an EV. And you really enjoy it. The problem with it is that it can be aggressive, it can be really strong. Typically there's different levels, so you don't have to drive in the one that's super aggressive. I haven't noticed that I don't have as much control when taking the turns, but it's possible that maybe your husband is going at a higher speed and then he lifts off the accelerator and that causes a little bit of jerkiness if he's on the strongest regen.
All right, so it all comes down to operator, how the operator uses it.
Yeah.
So one pedal driving, in my opinion, this is my opinion only, I'm not stating this for all people who drive EVs, it benefits the person driving the car. I feel personally that it is uncomfortable for a lot of passengers in the car. So if you're not aware, if you have never driven an EV, when you put down the accelerator, that's the go. When you lift off the accelerator, you don't put your foot on the brake. With regen braking, the braking automatically starts. So you might have been in an Uber where you feel this kind of, because they're lifting off and on. And the problem is, if you're not super smooth and modulate it very carefully, the passenger can feel like their head's bobbing back and forth.
Our boys have come back from the club, the bar, and they've been drinking, and they get in an Uber, and it's a Tesla. I'm just using Tesla as an example because this is their experience.
Most popular too.
And yeah, especially in Vancouver, they're a dime a dozen here. And they find that they're ready to vomit after the car ride because obviously, once again, maybe it is driver error and they're not very good at the regen braking, but as a passenger, it's like really stop and go and super jerky.
Yeah, so, and the thing is, the driver doesn't notice this because they're doing it. It's like if you drive a manual, if you've ever driven a manual, and you put the clutch in and then you change gears, your head stays steady because you know it's coming. All the passengers do this, and that's what's happening.
It is true. Love you guys. Thank you. If you were to choose between the Korean cousins, Toyota or Honda, what would be your choice? Reliability or lot of features?
Well, it's not Toyota for a lot of features. And it certainly isn't Honda. But what they have is they got the reliability cornered. They've got the resale thing cornered. They've got the brand loyalty cornered. And that's the battle that everybody else has to try and catch up to them.
You know what? They've earned it, haven't they? They've earned it. They have had that reliability record. And even if someone has a problem with a Toyota or Honda model, they forget about it quickly because of the past. Unfortunately, the Hyundai Group had problems in the past with reliability, and it's difficult for some people to get past that. Unfortunately, they are producing some great vehicles. Their reliability and dependability has improved drastically. Funny thing is, we were doing a Hyundai or a Kia, I'm not sure which model it was, but on Instagram, someone said, shouldn't these be priced a lot less than a Toyota or a Honda because of the issues with reliability in the past? And my response was, how long do manufacturers pay the price for that? Why should they produce great products with tons of features that are more reliable today and have to charge less for them?
But that's kind of how they do it. If you think about it, they do give you an advantage when it comes to you get more stuff in their cars.
Yeah.
So yes, maybe the dollars and cents looks similar, but when you actually look at what you get in a lot of these Korean cars, you get way more stuff. So you actually are getting it at a discount over those established brands. Listen, it can take 5 minutes to get into trouble and decades to get out of it in the auto
Sure.
industry. And then Andrea's point at the very beginning is absolutely the real thing. They have earned it over decades, and people trust them. That's why we call it the Bank of Toyota and the Bank of Honda. People put their money into those brands because they feel they get something back.
Look at Nissan, plagued with the CVT issues from the past. They are still not out of that. I don't know how many comments I get about the CVT today. What's your take on flat finish paints? I seem to remember that when they were introduced, they were on high-end models. Now I see that Hyundai has a flat finish on the Santa Fe. I wonder how they are to keep clean and to maintain. Do you even polish them? They are challenging. They are higher maintenance for sure. I'll use Kia as an example because they also have matte paint. They actually have special products that they will sell to you for hand washing these models. They cannot go through a car wash because of the brushes.
And if you take it to one of those places where they do a hand wash, they have a guy, and his name is Matt, and he's the only one that can wash the cars. They go,
It's not Steve or Dave, it's just Matt.
No, it's not Steve or Dave. They go, Matt, you're on. Here comes another Hyundai. The biggest issue, so you do have to kind of look after it. The biggest issue is if you have a fender bender and then you try to color match after it's been painted at the factory, often can be really tricky to color match matte finish. So go into it knowing that.
You also have to use a special cloth.
And the guy who paints it, his name's got to be Matt too.
Or Dave. And you have to use a special cloth, and they're more prone to scratching. It's just, man, you pay more for that paint, and you also have to spend a little more time with it. I'm curious, have you heard any updates on the 2026 Nissan Rogue plug-in hybrid, such as its possible launch date, what we can expect from the model, and how Nissan's current reliability record might affect customer perceptions? Also, once it launches, would it be better to lease or finance, given that it will feature a new engine in the Nissan lineup?
Well, they have said that it's going to be 2027. That's what they told us, one of the senior executives. So we have to kind of go on that.
So when you look online, and I think that's why you're wondering where is that it was supposed to be released initially in 2025 as a 2026 model, but we have received other information. As far as we understand, it's going to share the same plug-in hybrid powertrain as the Mitsubishi Outlander.
That would be good.
Which has been reliable.
And if you're not aware, they have the Alliance, or they had the Alliance, and all kinds of production integration was done, and we're just seeing the fruits of the labors on that now. I think maybe Mitsubishi had a clause with Nissan that said, we have the plug-in as our own for X number of years, but you can just go down to Mitsubishi and get an Outlander. The thing about the Mitsubishi is they've been doing it longer than pretty much everybody. So early into the game for plug-ins were Volvo, and then on the Japanese front, it was Mitsubishi. They've been making plug-in hybrids for many, many years now. So I think they've kind of got it sorted, and we have to wait for another cold winter to see if that EV charging thing is being sorted.
I never heard from anybody this last winter.
It was a warm winter, though.
But it was a warmer winter. The year before was really, really cold.
You know what? I nerd out on the weather, Andrea. If you're not aware, I did the weather for 10 years on TV. And here's you want the forecast if you haven't heard this. Fall warmer. Summer was warm. Fall warmer. Then put your coat on, Andrea. Get your boots ready. It's going to be a cold winter. A La Nina is forming in the southern Pacific, and that means cold and more snow.
I said to Zach, I always run cold. Not
You
a
make sure
cold
your hands-
heart. Not a cold
Well,
heart.
actually, maybe because you've been holding their coffee. It's warm right now.
Not
But the
a
other,
cold.
Andrea on a walk
Feel
last night,
that
she says, feel my hands, how cold. She's wearing a down jacket.
He first off, he said, I think you've overreacted here with the down
overdressed, I
jacket."
said, overdressed. I'm wearing a thin sort of spring fall jacket like this. Andrea's wearing like a long puffer.
I have it back here.
And then she says, feel my hand, which is freezing cold, but she clocked me in the side of the face.
Did not.
You did. You clocked me. You went like this, whack. And I said that there was all these geese at the park. I said, did you see that?
Yeah.
Abuse.
Abuse. He said I abused him. I said hardly. Anyway, I run cold. So a cold winter isn't great. So hopefully we've got some traveling to California.
And we'll hopefully get some feedback from Outlander owners to see if the not starting at cold weather has been resolved.
As for lease or finance or buy it or whatever you want to do, always remember it's a new vehicle. And even though it is a reliable powertrain that Nissan is going to be using because Outlander has it, it's still a new vehicle. And sometimes giving it a year before purchasing it is a good idea.
Just get the Outlander. They've been doing it a long time.
Oh, just make sure you have a Mitsubishi dealership in your area. Yeah. If you don't, I don't recommend traveling just in case there are problems. So make sure there is one in your area. My husband is a huge sedan lover and is in the market for a new one. With the death of sedans in the marketplace, what is your favorite sedan still available in North America?
Favorite sedan?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know non-luxury or luxury.
I think the Panamera is a great sedan. But, if you're talking about mainline, I guess it's pretty hard to beat Camry and Accord. I think the Civic Hybrid. I mean, the Civic Hybrid, we chose that last year as our car of the year. That's a damn good car.
The hybrid's terrific.
Yeah.
I guess it depends what size your husband's looking for. I do find like mid-size to be a little bit more comfortable. You get more features in the compact class like the Civic or something like the Corolla. So in non-luxury, I would say that. And then if I was looking for a sedan, I would probably, if it was going in the luxury category, I really enjoyed the Mercedes E-Class.
Yeah.
I haven't been in the BMW 5 Series in a long time.
No,
oh, yeah, we had it.
We both disliked it. We thought the
did.
Interior was trash.
Yeah.
It was all gimmicky plastic, glow-in-the-dark nonsense. It was tacky.
So that one's out because of just the design elements, although I love how BMWs handle. And then I might look at Audi just for comfort level, but I don't like the light steering.
If I was going to buy a premium luxury sedan, I would buy a used Porsche Panamera.
Yes, but some may not want to get it. I don't know.
A used one,
yeah.
And one that's got, well looked after, low miles. They're very reliable.
And so comfortable.
And it's a Porsche. And you could do a long distance bomber in one of those.
So fun.
You can get the base 6-cylinder, you can get the turbo, you can get the GTS, you can get the plug-in, you can get all of that.
All of it.
There are not that many around because they didn't sell that many. They were so expensive. But in the used market, they can actually be a pretty good deal.
Mm-hmm. Is there a resource?
Because I've been looking.
Oh, gosh. I'll just ignore that comment. Is there a resource that can give us details of battery degradation based on outside temperature? I assume there is enough data by now. How much range will a pure EV lose at -20 Celsius, -30 Celsius? How much will a PHEV lose in those temperatures? Maybe it's better just to go with a hybrid if I live in this type of temperature for 4 months of the year. I see people with EVs here, so it can't be that bad, right?
Well, there's no way that you can go online and do a calculator. All we have is sort of feedback from people, and I would say temperatures that are that cold, I'm guessing you're in Canada, if it's going to be -20, -30, would be 20 to as much as 40% depending on the car.
Yeah. It really affects range drastically. And it's the same with plug-in hybrids because you have everything going in the vehicle. You've got your heated seats, your heated steering wheel. You've got things cranked up.
The good thing is, I don't like those remote car starters to warm your car up. It's really bad for the gas engine. But with an EV, if it's plugged into your house, you get on the app, and you get the interior toasty, you get the bum warmers on. So when you run from the house into the car, it's already preconditioned. And if you're only driving 20 minutes, you don't use as much electricity.
It doesn't matter as much with that. Now, Recurrent Auto did a study on this, and they're reporting that vehicles with heat pumps retain 83% of range in freezing temperatures.
But what do they call freezing?
Hold on, compared to 75% range without heat pumps. But freezing temperatures, this data and study is done on, is 32 Fahrenheit or 0 Celsius.
That's nothing.
I mean, that's not even cold.
That's a fall day in Canada.
So they analyzed real-world data from over 18,000 vehicles in the U.S. across 20 popular models. I'm going to put the link. I mean, it's an interesting study, but it's not super cold.
I just want to say one thing. Do you remember our colleagues last year in Ontario, BCAA, not BCAA, CAA, the Canadian Automobile Association, did a ride and drive in Quebec with a bunch of auto journalists, and they drove, I think it was Montreal up to Tremblant, the ski resort, and back. Temperatures weren't super cold. They were around minus 15, but their study showed same kind of thing, 20 to 30%, and maybe even as much as 40. Some brands are really affected by the cold. We've heard anecdotally that Teslas have, they have this great big number that they market their cars on for range, but they are affected by the cold. So just go into it knowing that.
I'm looking for a small workhorse. Was eyeing up the Subaru Crosstrek Wilderness and it's 3,500 towing, but now they're not available for 2025, 2026. Volvo XC40 is similar size that can tow. Is there anything else? I don't want to reorganize my garage.
So what are the cars again? So Crosstrek, what were the other ones?
Crosstrek Wilderness and the XC40. So this person is in Canada. Because of tariffs, you cannot get any Subaru Wilderness model right now. There has been
in the US?
A stop. Canada. So I spoke to a dealership here in Vancouver, great general manager, Merrick, and he told me this: they cannot order a Wilderness model. So you're out of luck there for sure. But next year, when the new Outback Wilderness comes, he will be able to order it because it's made in Japan. So it's fine. So you are out of luck with the Wilderness. But XC40?
No. I just want to back this up a little bit. I believe we just did a Crosstrek video. Doesn't the hybrid have better towing capacity? It has more towing capacity than the regular gas one because it's got more power. What I remember, Andrew will have to go into her Instagram, but I do believe that might be the solution for you if you're interested in Crosstrek.
You're talking about Crosstrek hybrid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got more towing capacity because it's got more power.
I remember that, what it was.
We'll pause here and have a look.
Yeah.
A few moments later.
Well, I just got clocked on that too.
I didn't think that was right.
No, it's 1,500 pounds for the hybrid. For some reason, I thought it was maybe more. But anyway.
Well, it has a combined 194 horsepower, so you're probably thinking
it's got
electric
more.
motor.
Yeah, so maybe that's obviously not for you. And the Volvo, what's it at?
The Volvo, I'm not sure what the plug-in hybrid is. Pause.
A few moments later.
So the Volvo, we just checked, is how much?
3,500 pounds.
So there you
or
go.
up to 3,500 pounds.
So if you want something compact like that, or quite small, and that have the towing capacity, the Europeans often rate their towing much higher than the Japanese vehicles. They just do. So that's definitely an option.
You could also check out the X3, but that's compact. X1,
but one of the
doesn't
Toyotas
tow as much.
One of the RAV4s has a 3,500 pound towing capacity. I can't remember which one it is off the top of my head, but I think it was the
Woodlands.
The Woodland. The Woodland one is 3,500.
Are there any solid plans by Toyota to bring the Land Cruiser Mini to market in 2026, or just in the wishes of online posts? Yeah, the rumors are that it's going to come as an EV. That is Toyota's plan, but it's all rumors, and Toyota's not going to talk to us about future models. Now, we are going to the Tokyo Mobility Show, and they tend to focus on electric vehicles at that show, so maybe there'll be an announcement there.
I remember several years ago, they did a presentation and they showed what all their future EVs are going to be. And then tucked in the corner, it was an FJ Cruiser kind of looking thing. So I think that would be fantastic. But, they basically keep this thing under lock and key right until they want us. Nobody knows. It's all just speculation.
We were at Toyota.
But by the way, I was on the phone with one of the executives at Toyota, and I floated the idea of the Toyota Tofino.
Yes.
And he says, well, how do you know there's not a truck and it hasn't already been named? And I said, I don't. But if you're going for a name, a Toyota Tofino would be a hell of a good name.
I think it's already been named.
They all agreed.
Yeah, it's a good one. But I think that it's interesting because we don't hear from Toyota about future models. Like the IS, that release of the refresh was a real shock to me. And I've spoken to them about it, and they've really kept it under wraps. We even had the engineer over dinner in Portugal, and I talked to him about this, it having the same powertrain as the ES,
yeah, he was
hybrid
stone-faced,
and
yeah.
EV. And he was like, he just kind of looked and he wouldn't say. And I was like, I'm right, aren't I? Anyway, they were laughing. Wow. I still think it's coming, but for now,
Portugal.
got a good refresh.
Good old Portugal, Andrea.
So are we done, or do we have time for one more?
We're kind of done.
Okay.
So if you want to get a question in, how do you do it?
Follow along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday, put a post out asking for questions. Once we gather them, the post is deleted and we start the show.
Talk to you later.
Thanks for watching.